Alright, I'm going to start off this match with the Talisman Mystic as my opponent plays the Stronghold of Chaos, draining my spear, which is alright. My file isn't very spear or SP intensive at the start. Now, I fully expected a Shade to drain an SP as I tried a Grimbane, but instead, a Refugee Citizen came out. So right now I'm expecting a File Destruction deck, because a lot of File Destruction usually multi-spears and have Refugee Citizens come out around the start. But I check his cemetery and he plays an EX Curse Knight, so I'm not quite sure what's going to come out next. But with my action skill, I could tell my opponent no longer has Grims, and I can put any worry about those to rest, which actually I'm going to worry about later on, which I shouldn't have. But now currently I'm not playing any of my Meaning of Failures, because if I'm going to have my Grims put into the cemetery, I'd much rather have any SP generator Grims be taken out first. If I don't cast him there, there's a better chance that they'll randomly be put into the cemetery instead of my more useful Grims. Now, a lot of the times, I don't need the extra SP except around the end when it becomes hectic, so that's why I haven't been playing. And looks like right now it's going to be an Undead file. Now, when the Broken Priest was casted, I absolutely must make sure that its action skill does not fire off, because Lightning Wyverns and Deep Squid can't engage the Undead if their level's raised. Now, I'm not going to leave it up to the speed tie. Instead, I'm just going to cast Self Sorceress so I can Tentacle Slap that Book Lover like Cthulhu slaps his hose. Now, with the Jurir being played with a plus 10 defense put on Langbart, I knew that his file is going to revolve around Langbart using his auto, so I can fully expect Cemetery Retrieval like Spirit Witches, Priestess of Madness, and Liches. Now, since he has 4 units out, I'm going to leave it up to random chance to take out his Priest when I bring out Mildorio. So next turn it'll be a sure thing that I take out his Priest with the star skill, but instead he lets the Priest die. So I'm just gonna Cthulhu his EX Curse Knight, because there's no benefit to my opponent if he uses its close skill, and Mildorio will automatically kill off his level 1s anyways. Now, after this, he's going to I0 attack me, which is not good for my opponent, because with the additional damage from that soul skill, I could take out all his copies from his EX Curse Knight after my Self Sorceress closes. Now here he plays his Broken Priest again, and with his level 1s dying, I can no longer rely on Mildorio to kill off that thing, so I might have to leave it up to a speed tie, or so I thought at the time. So right now that's his second copy of EX Curse Knight, and I'm gonna Cthulhu slap away his last copy of EX Curse Knight. And Langbart still hasn't closed yet, so his auto is not going to fire off. Now I have no idea what soul skills are going to fire off next, and there's something I could have done. I mean, right now, since he no longer has Refugee Citizens, I play my remaining Meaning of Failure for the extra SP. And I thought about playing Swan Cavalier at the time, but I didn't care too much about the Priest raising Langbart's stats since there's only one Undead right now. But in hindsight, yeah, I should have played it. I mean, I didn't clue in that a Sin SS was coming, and with the amount of, especially with the amount of level 1s that he played. So now I'm going to lose 6 SP from Squid, and I'm going to lose 3 SP from Midorio's double-edged close skill. So that's 9 SP in total. But you know what? I'm not even worried about it. Doesn't it feel like when you play mid or big files that you have a lot of SP in the world? So I'm just going to play a Lightning Wyvern as a filler, because I'm no longer worried about his Sin Soul skills. Now, he makes a good play of using Standby as he retrieves all its Undeads back using Lich's action skill. Plus, there's also a Priestess of Madness, so I'm going to fire off my Field Wipe so I can guarantee 1 copy of his Priestess away. Now, my opponent's going to make a bad call here, because after this, he's going to I0 attack, and then that soul skill takes away his second copy of Lich. Now, he has plenty of SP to retrieve both his copies of Liches, but instead he I0 attacks again. Sometimes opponents forget that Lightning Wyverns are revivable, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, using the Lightning Wyvern's action skill, I'm finally going to activate my opponent's Langbart's close skill. So now, 5 damage will be done on all my units. His first copy of EX Curse Knight goes into Cemetery, and now his Lich is going to be completely gone. Now, this is exactly the situation I wanted. I wanted that minimum damage done by Langbart to be done to my Manta Ray, so that way every turn he's going to damage an Undead, lowering their attack power. The only thing on the field right now that could do anything about it is a Zug that he just brought out, because normally when you have a unit that can't be hit by attack actions, they do very well against Undead files along with Shrine Knights and Pixies. Now, I did have a time stop, but I didn't use it because, well, I could have used it to avoid a soul skill, but I still need it for the battle later on. Now, the only thing I am worried about was that if he had a Merciless Death in the file, but Razam usually do very well against Undead files because even when they close, they're still engaged until the next turn. I don't need a time stop yet because I still want to keep my last copy of Monterey after it dies from Zug's 100 damage skill. I almost completely forgot that I Grimbaned everything away. Remember earlier I said I was worried about a Merciless Death? Well, all his Grims are in the cemetery, so that didn't matter. Now I had no idea what cards were remaining, and then he plays a Flying Sorcerer of Ragas out of all things. I guess if a card's good enough, people are willing to multi-spear for it. Now, depending on what I engage, will decide if Razam takes damage or Monterey dies, because I'm just going to move it back up, and I don't think he will have 2 Flying Sorcerer Ragases. So now, he's going to play a Spirit Witch, which kind of is a bad idea, because she's a 1 life point liability. And when you check the field, Zug isn't going to go anywhere for a long time, and now, if I find a way to kill off everything else, then I can win the game without trying to drain all his SP. Now with the Flying Sorcerer Aragas doing that action skill, I'm going to expect it the very next turn. And with a little bit of luck, I might be able to end this match earlier. So I'm going to use Time Stop here this turn, because Manta Ray is not going to be attack immune, so his Teleport Open won't be very useful. So I'm going to use Ice Storm, and this is where my luck comes in. That 30 damage hits the Spirit Witch, so my opponent doesn't have any time to put it directly into the cemetery. And if he doesn't have another copy, then that means that's 1 life point down. So here I just need to kill off the last copy of EX Curse Knight, and I'm going to take the 2/3 chance of engaging his Flying Sorcerer Ragas and keep my Manta Ray alive for 1 more turn. Now with Ice Storm, I do kill her off, and I'm sure there isn't another copy because it would have been very advantageous for my opponent to play them back to back. And now I'm not going to even bother moving Manta Ray back because there's only 1 copy of EX Curse Knight left, and it's a 50-50 shot of ending the game right now. And that last SS doesn't even matter, and that's game. Thanks for watching, and try to have a nice day. Now if you like that match, then you could click on one of these annotated windows here, and it should take you to another one. And once again, thanks for watching.